Hi.
Hello, and welcome to DnDTime Brews, a show that we run here sometimes on Wednesdays, where we create fun, fantastical homebrew for 5th edition Dungeons and/or Dragons. I am Jeremy, and I'm joined by my co-host and/or Pete.
It's me, Pete. I'm here too.
Pete, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited to brew the thing that we have kind of prepped for today, and I think it's going to be very cool. This is a cool concept, Jeremy. I see that you have the stream very much ready for it. Visually
Yeah, he's just creeping.
He's just kind
hanging
of
out.
popping out. He's just kind of popping out the side, coming in, saying hello.
Yeah, he's our buddy. He's our friend. Don't worry, Pete. We've got more once we really start cracking into it.
You have more scarecrows?
I maybe. I guess for just as a bit of a primer, for those unaware, it's October, which means it's the spookiest month of the year. Pete and I are running our Carnival of Souls up on our main attraction, Pete and Jeremy's DnDTime, which is every Friday night here on Twitch. And yeah, so as part of that Carnival of Souls kind of spooky Halloween-y feel, we figured this would be as good a time as any to create a race block for scarecrows.
Yeah. That's it. You summed it up perfectly. Before we start, and I think I'm almost ready to just start hacking at it. Let's also, I just want to say hi to everyone who's hanging out in chat. I see we have Reflected 10/8s here. I see Max Meister. I see Swordcoat here. There may be others, and not there may be. I know that there are others that lurk within the shadows. And to you, oh no, I forgot to send out the announcement. I've just sent it now. If you're coming in now and after this announcement, then you are well, welcome to you as well.
Yeah, and I want to say a special thank you to the Forgotten One. Pete, you'd forgotten one.
I can only see what is upon the stream. I didn't have
resubscribed. 15 months supporting of DnDTime. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Frank.
15 months of DnDTime. Here's to many more. Also, an Adultia trapped to 3 chaotic individuals is not going to end well. Yeah, I mean, Anadultia, who knows what happened after they disappeared at the end of last week's Carnival of Souls event.
That is
Spoiler alert if you haven't seen it yet. And Angrim!
Angrim, thank you so much. 15 months also. It has been such a long time now, hasn't it?
It really has. And, I think there will be very many more months. We got a lot to do. I'm very excited. Hello, Adrian. Hello, Blood. Hello, everyone who's going to be popping in. But yeah, let's start moving into what we're doing today. So we are talking about the Scarecrow. The Scarecrow in Dungeons and Dragons is kind of an evil thingamajig, right? It's an evil construct, generally speaking. It's a scarecrow, and it's a scarecrow.
It's a scarecrow that's been made.
I can't beat around the bush here.
It's been brought to life to do evil, is basically the scarecrow's whole vibe in 5e in the official lore. But Jeremy, keep talking because I feel like I'm going to sneeze.
Oh, well, before we dive totally into the Scarecrow and start building this character, I just want a quick note for anyone hanging out in the chat, and I see there's more of you that have popped up, Ingrim, Matty Morgs, and the rest of you lurkers in the dark. We will be doing an Ask Pete and Jeremy at the end of this show. Yeah. So if you want to ask us anything at all, just head on to our Discord. Oh, that's not my link to the Discord. Head on over to our Discord server, to the Ask Pete and Jeremy channel, and leave us a question, and we will answer it at the end of the show. So, without further ado, Pete, let's talk about what our goals are for making this race option. Obviously, scarecrows are evil, but do we want to make a race option that's just evil?
And the answer is no. We never want to do that. In DnDTime, I think we always try to put ambiguity on our races such that you can look at the stats and what it is, and then find your own kind of character and what excites you to play within it. So we'll probably make something that could be evil, like you might make a spooky scarecrow. You might make, I think, Jeremy, you were calling it Friend Crow beforehand as well.
Yeah, and actually, I'm thinking about it, right? Like, does it even have to be a scarecrow? I feel like, and I'm hoping, we'll see where we end up. Maybe there are some uniquely scarecrow things that end up on here. But we may end up with just a really cool kind of creature or stat block for a creature that could be used for any kind of con.
Yeah, I think that
Who knows?
the Scarecrow vibe is fun for Halloween. That's kind of where we're doing it. But I think that what we end up with will definitely be something that could be easily reskinned into just, I want to play a robot.
Yeah, because I know there are quite a few of you who have wanted that in the past. Scarecrow from the Wizard of Oz was evil. He hung with a serial killer. Oh, Ingram, some truths are too true to be truth.
That's what I always say.
That was a real phrase I just said. Anyway, let's hop into the Scarecrow. So we are not going to go too deep today. We're just going to try and get a good stat block. This is our kind of baseline. You got ability scores. We're going to have a size category. We're going to have some speeds. I don't know if we're going to talk about age or alignment, and then whatever racial abilities they got. It should be the bare bones of what you need to play a Scarecrow. We're not going to go too deep into lore.
True.
Probably. But I think a good place to start, and Pete, let me know if you think so, is probably the monster manual entry for the Scarecrow.
Yeah, I'm down on that.
There's some radical art for this, by the way. I love, like, let me just zoom in this little guy. Oh, look at him. He's so cute. Anyway, he's not cute at all. He's horrifying. But that's okay. What am I doing? I'm trying to move around, and I'm having a hard time.
So the Scarecrow stat block, it's kind of a low CR monster, and they are chaotic evil medium constructs. And in terms of kind of their main abilities, they have false appearance, which allows them to look like a scarecrow. What happens is they'll just be kind of pretending to be a scarecrow in a field, and then you'll walk past them, and they'll and scare you and attack. So that's while the Scarecrow remains motionless, it is indistinguishable from an ordinary inanimate Scarecrow. And in addition to that, the rest of it has like a claw attack and abilities that frighten enemies. And these are the kind of core mechanics that make the Scarecrow, in the monster manual at least, what it is.
Yeah, and I see there's some comments coming up in chat there, talking about no need for food, drink, sleep, can't be charmed, immune to fear, which are aspects on the Scarecrow in the monster manual. But I don't know if we're going to necessarily reflect all of those in our actual final thing.
Yeah,
and we'll talk about that as we kind of go in our process. I was thinking, Pete, maybe we should start by just reading the text for the Scarecrow and seeing if that inspires us at all.
Yeah, certainly. You want to take the first chunk, and I'll take the second?
Yeah. At harvest time, when death revisits the twilight world and summer's blossoms bow their withered heads, eerie scarecrows loom in silent vigil over empty fields. With immortal patience, these stoic sentinels hold their posts through wind, storm, and flood, bound to their master's command, eager to terrify prey with its sackcloth visage and rend victims with its razor-sharp claws. All right, I got it.
Spirit-powered constructs. The Scarecrow is animated by the bound spirit of a slain evil creature, granting it purpose and mobility. It is this uncanny presence from beyond death that allows a Scarecrow to inspire fear in those it gazes upon. Hags and witches often bind scarecrows with the spirits of demons, but any evil spirit will do. Although aspects of the spirit's personality might surface, a scarecrow's spirit doesn't recall the memories it had as a creature, and its will is focused solely on serving its creator. If its creator dies, the spirit inhabiting a scarecrow either continues to follow its last commands, seeks revenge for its creator's death, or destroys itself.
And then construct nature, scarecrows need air, food, drink, or sleep. All right, well, interesting. Okay. I actually, Pete, what do you pick out of those kind of two little paragraphs there that are particularly like evocative or maybe important for us to think about?
I'll tell you more for me. What actually doesn't strike out to me is what's important, and that is this tying into a master is something that I think isn't going to work with what we're doing. Like the flavor of the Lumen Silent Vigil over empty fields, Immortal Patience, Stoic Sentinels. I'm into all of that very much. But the having it to be like a spirit inside of a thing, like I think for me at least, I would want to make it neutrally like maybe you're a spirit inside of a thing, or maybe you are just animated by magic, or maybe you are some other weird eldritch being that's come into existence. Like wouldn't want to put like a tag on how you exist.
I think so as well. And I really like and part of what you were just saying there, right? The whole the spirit doesn't recall its memories and it focused solely on serving its creator. Well, that explains probably why it's immune to charm, it's immune to fear, it's just solely focused. Our creatures, our race option, we want it to be more open, more flexible for the person playing it, and take it in whichever direction they want.
And we can't make them immune to charm, fear, paralyze, poison, unconscious, and exhaustion.
That's true. We're not going to do that.
But to unconscious.
That's an interesting one. So when you reduce to 0, do you just die?
I think that would be no. I think it's while you're making death saves, you're not unconscious.
You're not unconscious, but you're still incapacitated.
Yeah, that's just brutal.
I like it.
Yeah, that's that's actually very interesting. Maybe there is something there.
Let's see. Chat saying some stuff. Ingram says, int -1, no brain. Maybe, actually. I like that Wizard of Oz tie-in. And we haven't done a negative stat creature. Why haven't we done those?
Because I at least for me, I don't like negative stat creatures.
Me too.
I like I'm not going to say I don't like, for example, I think the Kobold and Orc are both very cool, because Kobold's the big one. Like, I think they're both cool and they have some neat design in them, but I just don't like being told that if I want to try and make a strong Kobold, I'm going to inherently be at like a huge disadvantage for that. Or if I want to make the Wizard Orc, it's just going to be a nightmare to try and pull that off.
I agree.
So I'm opposed just on that principle, but I guess it's not like, it's not bad if you want to kind of, pigeonhole it a little bit more.
Yeah, in previous editions where the math of ability scores and to hits and everything worked out differently, maybe it made more sense. But in 5e, with its kind of bounded accuracy construct, it doesn't really make sense to me.
And in I was going to say, also in lore, the Scarecrow was actually decidedly the smartest one in the group.
Yeah, no, hands down.
Let's
do the easy stuff first, right?
Strength, ability scores.
Sure.
So V-Bunny
I was going to say, even before ability scores, like, it's medium.
Yep.
Medium creature.
Speed
of 30 feet.
I was actually going to already throwing a cog in the machine, I picture a Shambly 25. But I think we're going to have to put a lot of stuff on these, and that might be just a good place to take a little power off.
We could, but
things like poison immunity, it's probably going to make sense if we're doing a construct thing.
I really like the idea of the fast-moving, kind of almost mechanical, that's terrifying to me.
I'm fine with it. I just think, and I mean, that's the standard. Okay. I was throwing an alternative.
25/30. We'll consider it and we'll come back to this.
Yeah, 25 might be a place to just take some power, because I got a funny feeling we're going to have to roll high on power if we want to put everything that we want on this and also have the construct-y stuff. We'll see.
Well, let's talk ability scores, because that's where you were going to jump first. Where are we at, Pete? Because I think I know where we're at.
Well, V-Money was throwing out an idea here, which was that 3+1s that can be placed in any stat, but no more than 2 can be placed in one stat, implying that you would just have 3 flex points, which is a little bit too wild and variety for me. But I do kind of like the idea of giving them like a half-elf little bit of like flex to them, where, a +1 that they can put anywhere, because he was pointing out, every Scarecrow can be built differently. Like, maybe you got a little extra stuffing around the midsection, you got a high constitution, or maybe you were kind of, built in such a way that you're more stickish and less bumbly and you got a better dex. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the stats in the monster manual are very much reminiscent of this beautiful creation.
Yeah.
This is what the Monster Manual is making stats for. Oh my goodness, being stupid again. But yeah, anyway, that's what the Monster Manual is looking at. We are looking at something maybe a little more open. So maybe we don't have to stick to the dex and charismas in the Monster Manual. Maybe we can be a little more flexible with it.
Now,
I
Jeremy,
think, Pete, you know what I think would be really cool? Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
my first question was, what do you think you would want to play a Scarecrow as? What class does the Scarecrow call to you? I have two in mind, and they're completely unrelated.
Oh my goodness. The problem is I don't think of a class. I think of a character. I would either want to just be... Let me scroll right back up to the horrible thing in the corner here. Where is he? Come on, thing. It's being bad. Anyway, the creepy monster in the corner of the book. I either want to be him, just I want to be that, or I want to be a big old friend. One or the other.
Because for me, like two things resonate with me on the Scarecrow. And those are, I picture a warlock where you made a pact to be a sentient Scarecrow.
Okay.
Or I picture, weirdly enough, a fighter where you're just there fending off. Like, I picture you standing in a field with your, like, very ragtag pitchfork or something, like fending off crows. Those are the two things that call to me on the Scarecrow. And, like,
well, you're kind of
that you
roboting
don't
Pete
reach.
right now.
Oh no,
You're becoming a modern Scarecrow.
You are actually a little too. Maybe that's just on my end.
That's whack. Let's try this other channel. All right, hello, Pete. Are you better now?
You are still not. I assume I'm not also.
Oh my goodness, no, you're not. Chat, please let us know whether it's Pete or myself that are having issues.
Hey, want to have a different server?
That is really... Man, let me try and get that going. Where's Discord?
No,
Sorry
not like
for
that.
the
I mean,
technical difficulties.
Maybe just jump on the team speak.
Yeah. Let's actually... fix that. Looks like we lost audio for a hot minute there. My guess is it is the USD. Okay. Hello, are we better now?
You sound good to me. Do I sound good to you?
Yes, it was the US East Discord server. Sorry, folks. We were muted for a hot minute there. But everything should be good now. We should be live.
Excellent.
All right. Sorry. We love you all. All right. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm like... I think you're right. I think we can build Scarecrows in like whatever way we damn well please. So
is there one thing that calls out to you? Because the two that do like hit Scarecrow for me are Dex and Charisma. Like those are the two things that most resonate Scarecrow with me.
Yeah, I mean, I think of the limber, scary, fast like monster, right?
Yeah.
That's what I think of.
I actually think of the Wizard of Oz Scarecrow, and he was also very kind of like all over the place and doing tumbles and stuff too, which was a friendlier Scarecrow, but same vibe, you know?
Yeah. I mean, here's what I think. What if we gave him a +1 to Dex and a +1 to Charisma, and then a +1 to any?
Including Dex or Charisma?
Yeah.
I'm down.
I think that'd be fun.
That's fine by me.
And I don't know how we're going to say that. I know there is some official text for it, but I don't remember what it is. We're just going to say choose +1. I think that's fine. That way, if someone really wants to go in a different direction, especially with a typical point buy, they absolutely can.
I will get that information while we're
And I see V-Bunny's liking it. I'm digging it. We got some other things coming in. I saw Maddie Morgs was saying maybe make a Scarecrow very human, but instead of using feats, allow for a selection of other races' traits to reflect the maker or intention. That's a really interesting choice. I think it might be. I almost want to say a little too complicated for the general design of 5th edition D&D, but it might just be too complicated for what we're trying to put together here.
Yeah, I just don't think we have time to like do that right.
But I think that
in this
could be
exact moment.
very neat.
No, I like the like that's the kind of thing where if a player came at me with that and we're like, I want to do this because we had the Scarecrow and they're like, I want to do like a variant human because I'm an elven Scarecrow and I feel like I should have Fey ancestry, or like, you know, something like that. I would be, yeah, absolutely.
That'd be weird. Fey ancestry.
I don't know what their pick. Oh, maybe elven weapon proficiency, or they can use like the longbow.
Oh my god, that would just be meta. That would be anyway. Yeah, so I'm liking this. I think it's pretty cool so far. I like this direction with the multiple stat choices. Blood was saying, I'm a little confused about the +1 charisma on an artificial race. I think that +1 charisma is like their kind of force of being, right? How they're made. It's not just a matter of like, because this isn't like a big metal robot. You know, this is like a Frosty the Snowman more kind of deal. You see, it's like, it's good, it's fun, it's nice.
Frosty the Snowman would probably be something you could very easily make with the Scarecrow stat block that we're going to make here.
You can't get brutally scarred as a Scarecrow because you're just a Scarecrow. You get cut, stuffing comes out instead of like blood. Or maybe it's raven feathers. I don't know if you're into that. That's weird. But you know, I think that's where that +1 charisma comes in. You know, it's harder to make you look like you're dying, like look bad. I guess that's my.
For me, it was just like, as in the paladin's power comes from charisma and just their force of personality. Just the Scarecrow is animated by something strange, and sometimes like internal magic is often represented by charisma, and that's why I think the charisma makes sense.
Both of the good reasons. But yeah, so okay, we got the ability scores we're pretty happy with right now. We got that flexibility in there, and we've got the basic things that make scarecrows. And we have a good size category. We don't want to make anything different. I think we're fine with just medium for a Scarecrow.
Yep.
I was seeing there was some comment about making like a small option, but like the whole point of a Scarecrow is to scare crows. So maybe medium for this.
If you have,
maybe you can be a very short medium if you want.
The Scarecrow for your like, what's a small, like a pumpkin patch? You're just right above the pumpkin.
You know, you can be like a dwarf, right? Small. It's small for medium. Let's talk.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% with you.
What else do we need to put in here? So age, we're not going to worry about that right now.
I think we skip it. Alignment, also, probably.
Yeah, in a more detailed write-up, we would take the time to really dive into this, maybe alignment, and come up with some suggestions about personality, and maybe we'll do that in the future. But there's no need to worry about it.
Agreed.
Size, very similarly, do whatever the hell you damn well please. And now we're on to these languages.
Let's do languages, yeah. And I think the answer is you can speak, read, and write common, and then one other of your choice, like a human, where it is you know the language of the people that made you.
Yep. Of your choice. And I don't think we want to specify made you in this because we don't know if that's the case in the situation. But just one other of your choice seems fine to me. You know, you can flavor
that actually does, for me, that actually does seem like something that we can absolutely say about a Scarecrow flavor, which is at some point somebody had to put you together.
Well, yeah, actually, you're right.
I think that is absolute on Scarecrow. And at some point, I think it's cool to, you know, take a stand on that one point. Just someone put straw in a bag and put it in the field.
That's fair. I'm with you on that. I was thinking like animated you, but that's because I was thinking like, well, what if you were animated by some other thing, like a lightning strike, but I guess it's.
I was just picturing like the dwarven farmer that put you out in the field. You speak dwarven because you're from a dwarven field.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, and then it would just be like you speak, read, and write common and deep speech.
And the language of your creator. And one language of your creator. Cool. Excellent. So we are in a good spot with the languages. Let's start talking about the juiciest part here, the race features. Okay, so right now we have just an open field. We can do anything with this because there's really no power creep on stats. I mean, they're decent, they're good, but they're not game breaking. Speed isn't a problem. Language isn't a problem. What kind of abilities do we want to put on this boy?
I think the trickiest one is where we should start, and that's probably going to be the thing that makes them inorganic life.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
So there was the chunk of text there. What was the exact phrasing on? They put it. If you don't mind scrolling up a little bit there, Jeremy, on the player's handbook, because I'm not looking at
Yeah, I'm up
the
there
actual
now.
book. Okay, yeah, a scarecrow doesn't require air, food, drink, or sleep. Is that something that?
Yeah, and I think we can just take that whole cloth. I'm fine with, you know?
Yeah, I'm fine with that as well. By saying it doesn't require sleep, do we
Yeah.
also need to then put on that they cannot be magically put to sleep? Or can they just still, like, how does that tie in? Do you think that's not a condition of movement?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. And cannot be put to sleep by...
And then I think the phrasing from the elf is, and magic cannot put them to sleep.
Okay.
Because you have advantage on saving throws against charms, and magic cannot put you to sleep or cause you to be put to sleep. Something like that.
Yeah. So we'll figure out whatever that language is precisely.
And and magic can't put you to sleep. I just looked it up.
Cool. And magic can't put you to sleep. Cool. I like that. I think that's fine. Balance wise, does this really hold any power, or is this really a ribbon for our purposes?
For our purpose in DnDTime, it's absolutely a ribbon.
Mm-hmm. Outside of that, I still think that this is a ribbon. Even outside of that, I mean, the air is good.
Yeah, that was the only one I was going to bring up. Is the air has relevance, and the magic can't put you to sleep is extremely niche, but it's possible it comes up. But for the most part, it's the air letting you breathe underwater.
The sleep isn't a problem because a long rest doesn't require that you sleep. It requires that you rest. And so this creature still needs to rest just normal. They just don't have to sleep while resting.
Yeah.
So that's importantly noted. And I see the chat is jumping the gun. I'm with you, chat. We got to talk about kind of the all-encompassing feature. The very first thing was vulnerability to fire.
Vulnerabilities are another one I'm so reticent to throw in.
Well.
But like never before have I been so tempted to put a vulnerability on something because this feels so correct for what the Scarecrow is. But for me, I guess it comes... Okay, go ahead, good.
I was going to say, what if we could find something else about fire, right, that isn't a vulnerability, but that accomplishes the same goal of fire is bad? I'm thinking like the Yeti has a feature that has to do with fire. I think fire aversion, maybe. Maybe
they get like frightened or something.
Yeah, there are a couple of monsters throughout the book that have an aversion to fire, and I think it's called aversion to fire is the feature. And I think that we could go with that if we want to really embrace this vulnerability to fire without taking the crippling damage aspects of vulnerability.
Yeah, because that can be real bad.
Well, it's not even a matter of good or bad because most of the time it doesn't matter at all. The problem is when it does matter, it sucks. It's not a good feel.
No, I'm with you. Like I said, Scarecrow's like they are just it is so right on, but
yeah, and I see there's a lot of people in chat commenting. Blood is, and I think V-Bunny also mentioned that we have literal plant people that are totally unaffected by fire. Yeah, that's true. The Florin are not affected by fire any more or less, but I guess they're living plants. That's
the living plants aren't actually all that susceptible to. I mean, you can like burn them and dry them out, but they're not like just straw.
These guys are dried out. Yeah, they're straw. Let's see. Let's go to that flesh golem to see what they've got, because Maddie Morgs mentioned the flesh golem is maybe an interesting place to look, because they have an aversion to fire. I think I actually scrolled past them because all of the golems are together. And oh my god, let's just take a look at this, please. Scroll thing. This beautiful, beautiful look.
If it takes fire damage, it has disadvantage
Oh.
on attack rolls and ability checks until the end of its next turn.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Oh, whoops. Attack rolls and ability checks. Yeah, not too bad.
That's closer for sure.
I'm gonna copy it for now and stick it in here, and maybe let's look at. I think the Yeti had it too. So maybe we scroll down to the Yeti, which is way the hell down at the bottom, past that majestic unicorn, past the vampire. The Yuan Ti probably is before or after the Yeti. All right, Yeti. Yeti has fear of fire. If the Yeti takes fire damage, it has disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks until the end of its next turn. Oh.
Yep, same thing.
Exact same thing, just with a different name. Okay, so that seems to be like the feature for fire.
And maybe that's what we go with. I think we'll throw it on. We'll see where it ends up. And
what if we say and cannot regain hit points until the end of its next?
I was actually thinking that exact same feature, but I think if we do that, we don't need to put the other thing about the disadvantage and stuff. I think just the not being able to regain hit points is enough of a representation of it as it is.
What if I think we should stick with ability checks?
You want to get rid of the attack rolls? I'm okay with that more.
I don't want to force the Scarecrow into like a caster role, because fire is very common in 5e. So I think, disadvantage on ability checks and cannot regain hit points until the start of its next turn, or until the end of its next turn. I think that's a pretty good way of dealing with it.
Yeah. I also would want to come back to this and maybe decide that we just get rid of that whole thing, depending on where it's at.
Yeah, depending on how much other power we give it. And I'm going to give this a new name, Fear of Flame.
There it is.
Or we could call it Kindling.
Brutal. I like it.
Boop.
Cool name.
Yeah,
poison immunity.
Well, actually, I want to catch up with chat real quick. Let's see. Max Meister, this race is interesting. I'm glad you're liking it, Max. I'm feeling it too. V Bunny was saying resistance to fire. Wait, what? Vulnerability to fire, resistance to necrotic. We're gonna get to those resistances in a minute. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So yeah, let me scroll back up to my friend the Scarecrow. Actually, I think I know the page it's on, because I did my homework at least a little bit. Oh no, I scrolled past him. All right, let's just zoom in on this beautiful boy. Oh, I love him. So I keep zooming in on the spoopy one in the corner.
Eidolon, hello, it's good to see you.
Eidolon, it's been a long time, my friend. It's great. Yeah, how are you? Let's see. You're a Scarecrow. You know what you're signing up for. That's fair, Ingram, but just because something's gonna be so just incredibly unfun doesn't make it less unfun when it happens.
Sounds good on paper, but
yeah, like whenever you go into a game, you might get crit and just your character dies outright, but it still feels so bad.
But for now, Jeremy, let's talk poison immunity.
Yeah, okay. So this is poison immunity. All right.
Immunity and condition immunity. So here's where I'm at on this.
Mm-hmm.
If we are making this to be more of an all-purpose con, how much do we care about wanting it to be a true construct?
Well, let me just say this first part. I'm fine with poison immunity.
Oh, I am too. It's just going to eat a lot of power. It's going to consume strength that we can put on this thing.
And I think that's okay.
If we want... Because I guess the question is, what else do we want to put on this?
Well, it's also what's the strength of the Scarecrow here? For me, it's its versatility. It's got 3+1 ability score, super versatile. It doesn't need air. You can really play with that, like legitimately, if you are in certain environments that benefit. Okay, it doesn't like fire damage. That's a huge draw. but I think you can do some interesting things here. Like legitimately,
yeah.
I think we can do some cool stuff.
Do you want to say also the other one's bludgeoning, piercing, slashing from non-magical weapons? Obviously,
get that out of here. It's gone.
Yeah,
we get rid of that.
obviously not. Damage immunities though, I'm down on the poison immunity, and then again maybe that's somewhere we hedge on later if we have too much that we put onto it.
No, I'm with you.
Just in the same way that kindling is something we hedge on later if we didn't put enough into it.
But I see a couple comments back in the chat still. Ingram, it might make it funny when they die to fire, but still. And everyone, I'm glad you're back from your self-imposed exile. Hopefully you'll play with us some more.
Yeah.
Or just hang out, whichever is easiest for you, whatever is best for you. I'm bad.
Amen.
All right, so yeah, let's go. Immunity poison. I think that goes under construct nature, right?
Condition to the condition too, yeah.
Immunity. How do you phrase that? Poison damage and the poisoned condition.
I'll get the exact text again.
That's gonna be on the Yuan-Ti. They have it.
Them pure bloods.
The Yuan-Ti pure blood. Condition immunities, right? Charm. We already talked about why we don't need to have that. You have free will as you're a player character.
You're immune to poison damage and the poison condition.
Oh goodness.
I don't really mind putting. Oh wait, it's just because of one feature. It's just because of the barbarian.
It is, and I think that's okay.
I don't think it's okay. Well,
I don't know.
Start off. Let me get the text while I'm looking at it. You're immune to poison damage and the poison condition. I think that's what we have, right?
Yes.
You
are. Oh,
it would be so you.
Yeah, I'll get
are
you do it.
Immune.
All right. Oh boy.
I don't think we can make one. Like, I don't want to put a feature on that. It's just like
we can't do it. We can just
yeah. I'm 100% with you.
So much in the game about resting too. Like outside of just classes, it's just like yep. I just never sleep and I never stop moving and I never rest and exhaustion is a limiter on a lot of stuff. So we can't do that. But this is saying it will have someone cast reincarnation at Legends tier. Don't do it. Well, these aren't on the reincarnate table.
Yeah, I don't think you can reincarnate into a scarecrow.
All species of gnomes.
It's only
Welcome
gnomes.
To hell. Okay, so exhaustion's out off the page. And maybe that's just because you have like a soul, right? And your spirit can be exhausted. That's how I'm gonna look at it. Paralyzed. I think it's the same kind of idea. Like
we can't take away paralyzed.
Yeah, it's like a consciousness deal. I'm okay with that. And unconscious, I think you can be knocked unconscious. Just say that's fine. So immunity wise, yeah, we're fine. Nothing too bad.
Immunity to unconscious, we've basically already put in the magic can't put you to sleep.
Yeah, and we need dark vision. You got the dark vision text, Pete?
I can. Do we need dark vision?
I mean, the Scarecrow's got dark vision. I think we should throw it on. Like, whenever you're designing for, like, and this is just a note for audience. Whenever you're designing something and you're trying to make something new, if you have a cool idea or something that's thematic, just put it down and come back later and trim it off. Kind of like, what Pete's been saying the whole time about this idea of this kindling ability, right? It's a neat idea. It's obviously a drawback. But we can always come back and get rid of it later if we end up deciding we want to do something different, right?
I took it from the orc.
Thanks to your orc blood, you have superior dark vision. Scarecrows.
Oh, wait. There we go.
What do you want to call that ability?
Dark vision.
Oh. Okay, you have superior dark vision, dim light, superior vision, dim light, and dark conditions. You see dim light within 60 feet of you, bright light, blah, 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 blah. Cool. Do you want to say they can't discern color anywhere? No, that's just dumb.
No.
All right.
Don't take away color from scarecrows.
All right. False appearance is the other main feature they have. I like keeping that.
Yeah, I 100% agree that they should have that false appearance.
It's just like fun. I mean, how often are you going to use it? Probably not at all. But it could be really cool. And I imagine
it needs an maybe it even doesn't. Like I was going to say it needs like a check against it, like some kind of DC on it, since it's for a person. Like, because for example, the other false appearance, like I think of the rock gnome. Is it not rock gnome? The deep gnome, which has, I think, advantage on stealth and rocky terrain, because I think I'm worried about players who are just going to be like, well, I'm standing still, so I'm just a scarecrow. But it just doesn't work like that. It's just like, if someone saw you move around and then you stop, you're obviously not just a scarecrow.
Yeah, well, I think even beyond that, right? If you weren't there a minute ago and now you're there, even if they didn't see you move, like, this only works in situations where you have time to, like, set up.
Yeah, exactly. In which case
something is coming.
In which case I'm fine with that.
And even then, like, if you're in the middle of, like, a town and you're just like, I'm a scarecrow here in the street, just me, a scarecrow, pay no attention to me. Like, no. You know, people aren't going to buy that. So I think it's fine just the way it is. It's such a niche use case. I'm down with it. A scarecrow in a cave? Weird. Yeah, exactly.
Just in the same way your players will metagame every time you try and use a scarecrow, even normally in a field.
Yeah.
As a DM, anytime you describe a scarecrow, your players will always be like, all right, I burn it I shoot firebolt at it 10 times from 300 feet away. Just like, all right, you guys got my encounter.
And what happens with the scarecrow with mending? Instant self-heal? I don't know. Maybe not.
Here's an idea from where was it? Ian Grimm and I was saying, what about a kind of self-lay on hands where you can put some stuffing back into for HP equal to level? I think there could be something fun with restuffing yourself. Just as a note. I'm not gonna throw it on the thing, I'll just throw it below as like a restuffing.
Yeah, that could be fun actually. Like, maybe you have like a 5-minute short rest kind of thing you can do. That might be a little too complicated. Let's just keep looking at what we got still. So we got Construct Nature, which is good. No sleep, no poison, no breathing, eating, and drinking. Dark Vision, False Appearance. Nothing here except for Dark Vision really has a lot of power, except for the poison immunity. So it's Dark Vision and the poison immunity are the two like powerful things this has so far. Let's look at its attacks. So typically, the Scarecrow can claw a creature and cause them to be frightened, and they can glare at a creature and cause them to be paralyzed. What do we think? I don't think we want to do either of those things.
The stream has gotten so spooky, Jeremy.
Why is it so spooky?
There's just so many of them. I haven't looked over in a little bit.
Oh, the friend. Yeah, they're all just hanging out.
All just popped out.
Yeah.
I got so scared by these scarecrows that I lost track of what you were saying. Can you repeat your question?
Well, I'm just looking at these. It's all of its attacks. It's got claw and it's got a terrifying glare. And both of these are you scare things, right? What do we want to do? Do we want to have that kind of stuff on our Scarecrow? I mean, we could do like a tiefling like spell casting where it has cause fear as a level 1 spell, and then like hold person as a level 2 spell.
Yes.
Do you think?
I think the reason I say this is because I would love to give them Find Familiar for a crow.
We're going to give them Find the Familiar on a...
Do you think it's too iconic to a particular class? Like, do you think it's too wizardy? Because doesn't
Familiars are very good.
That's true.
They're very, very good.
But if it's a class...
They're really good.
I mean, we could nerf it. I mean, there's got to be some interaction with crows in the class.
I do like the idea of you having just a little animal friend.
I would throw out as an alternative, because what I would like is not for you to, like, because I don't want find familiar. I want you to have a thing you can command. So it might be chunky, but I would love to give them find familiar without the ability to look through its eyes and hear through its ears.
Yeah, so first
Or
I see some
even,
stuff.
or even like cast spells through it.
Ooh, Maddie Moore saying why not like you want to like charm limited to snakes but limited to tiny birds. That's not a bad way to handle it.
Could do that.
Do we have a template for the spell casting? So I think that's the first place to go. Right, we wanna jump onto the spell cast, the spell casting thing because we gotta give them spells. Is what we're coming to. Actually, Pete, do you have the Triton stat block readily available to you?
I can have
Yeah,
it.
because the Triton has some kind of funky.
Oh, Emissary of the Seas.
Yeah, can you just like put that in here and then we can see how that kind of looks and maybe base it off of that.
Yeah, same thing probably with Speech of Beast and Leaf from the Furbolg.
Yeah, you can talk to tiny birds.
Aquatic beasts have an extraordinary affinity with your people. You can communicate simple ideas with beasts that can breathe water. They can understand the meaning of your words, though you have no special ability to understand. They can understand the meaning of your words, though you have no special ability to understand them in return.
That might not be a bad idea.
Let me look at the other option here.
You should have something similar for snakes. And then what else is there? And actually, I was talking about the Triton spell casting.
Oh,
because we need to give these guys spells. We're giving them some cool spells.
You have ability to communicate in a limited manner with beasts and plants. They can understand the meaning of your words, though you can't understand them. You have advantage on charisma checks you make to influence them.
Yeah, I like that. Maybe. Well, let's see what the spells are. Let's look at this spell thing because maybe we can give them like a spell like Beast Bond or something. Because people are saying birds, but I'm thinking like a little field mouse could also be really cool.
Yeah, I feel that for sure.
Like I would love a little field mouse who just lives on my shoulder.
Let's also look at.
Let's see. People are V-Bunny was saying the thaumaturgy cantrip. V-Bunny was saying fear at once per day.
Here is that UNT Pure Blood move. Let me get it without the thing. That one's kind of cool. And then we'll get that Triton one as well.
I like this direction. Yeah, a hamster. I mean, you could have a miniature giant space hamster, or wait, is Minsk actually a scarecrow? Who would know? Okay, so let's. Oh goodness, we have so much text that's come on here. Let's take this one at a time. Let's hit this first major spell casting because we really want. We want spell casting in here. I'm just gonna call it spell casting for now. A child of the sea. Probably not. Wait, you can just cast fog cloud? Oh wait, I see. It gets back. So I think we just get rid of that text for now. Or maybe we'll just say like your unnatural presence, your unnatural essence can instill fear in the living.
Blood Deuce was throwing out the name Child of the Corn. I'm gonna put it down as a temporary because I like that a lot.
Yep. Jesus. Oh boy. Or rather, an essence presence can instill fear among. And then what are the spells? So you can cast instead of fog cloud, We're going to say cause fear.
Cause fear is a great pick.
Yep, not cause ear, not the corn. Cause fear with this trait. Starting at 3rd level, you can cast Gust of Wind with it. So Gust of Wind is a 1st level spell, I believe, right?
Gust of Wind is indeed...
Now,
no, it's a 2nd level
tieflings-
spell. Gust of Wind's
No,
level 2.
No way.
Yeah, I'm like
Really?
90%. Yep.
Wow. Okay. What's a good 2nd level spell? Oh, wait, a whole person. And starting at 5th level, you can also cast. What's the 3rd spell that we're looking at? Wall of
I
Water.
was kind of into the idea of the Beast Bond.
You think?
Beast Bond, Animal Friendship is also pretty fine, but I think Beast Bond is nifty.
The question is, do we want to put that on this feature, which is kind of about their fear abilities, or do we want that to be its own small little thing?
I think that is powerful enough that it should be in with the spellcasting.
Yeah, it's just weird because...
I mean, we can just change the phrasing of that.
Yeah, I mean, we could change that entirely.
Yeah, that's just flavor. Just because, like, Beast Bond isn't insignificant. It lets you, for example, like, communicate telepathically. If we're doing it, like, targeting just crows and field mice or whatever we make it with, it means you can
hear me out here.
A bird fly around and then tell you what it thinks. Like,
what's another like 2nd level spell that's spoopy? Because I don't want to give them the fear spell. I think fear is too good for this, for like also, a normal racial feature.
Yeah, also like a little redundant feeling, I think.
Yeah, because you already have cast cause fear. I'd rather have this be hold person at 3rd level. You know what I mean? You can try and get 2 people.
Yeah, well, it's usually, generally speaking, it's cantrip 1st level, 2nd level is the tiefling OG.
Is
anyway.
It?
Yeah. But the Triton was a little different. It did, I think, 2 1st levels. So I think another 1st level spell as well could be reasonable. Like if it was...
Okay, so we'll say hold person, and then for the other 1st level spell, what do you think?
I mean, Beast Bond then. And maybe we can try that.
No, but it's a 1st level spell cast at 2nd level for the tiefling. Hellish Rebuke is cast at 2nd level for the tiefling.
So it's...
in that case, upcast 2nd, and then a 2nd level for darkness. Yeah.
What's the tiefling ones? Do they not get a cantrip? I would have sworn they got a cantrip.
They do, don't they?
Yeah, okay, so it's Thaumaturgy, 2nd level Hellish Rebuke, 2nd level spell Darkness.
Yeah.
And I think it's fine to just be like 1st level, instead of the cantrip, 1st level, 2nd level.
Oh, yeah, I think that's fine. What other 1st level do you think?
I was going to say Beast Bond. And make it the
targeting... that's a 1st level!
Yeah.
Oh! Okay, I'm so silly. I apologize, Pete.
No worries.
Well, okay. So, Bear Bond? Oh no. You can cast a Beast Bond with the straight.
I want to cast a Bear Bond.
I was just thinking though, like, I really liked this, the Yuan Ti. You can cast Animal Friendship unlimited number of times, targeting only snakes.
And I would love to, like, if we want to do crows and field mice, I'm fine with that as well. Like,
maybe we want to go in that direction for the spell casting then, rather than this kind of Triton one. Maybe that's just the way to go.
Yeah, at level 1 you get the Beast Bond thing. At level 3 you get the Cause Fear, and then at level 4 you get the Hold Person, or level 5 you get the Hold Person.
Well, I mean, the Yuan Ti only get a cantrip, and they get a spell, and they get a 2nd spell, and that's it.
So that's 3. So this would be the. So I'm saying instead of the cantrip spell, they get. So it just clocks at 3 instead of 5. I guess is the only difference.
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say, you can cast Animal Friendship, or what does Animal Friendship do? I don't actually know the spell.
Marlboro Man was saying 5th level, animate object, insect plague, or dominate person. Those are this is just for a player to play race, not a monster, if that's what you were thinking. But yeah, those are probably a little too powerful to throw on just a player race. Got to keep it to them Got to keep it to them low-level ones for people to use.
So you can cast.
Also welcome.
Okay, here we go. We'll just make this 2 separate abilities. So, what do we call this? Beast friend? I don't know.
Bond of beasts.
I don't know what we're gonna call this.
Speech of crow and mouse.
Ugh. We'll come back to that as to what we want to name it. But okay, so we got a beast friend. You can guess, is animal friendship or beast bond? Which spell do you want to go with?
I like Beast Bond just because it's less known and it will feel more unique, I think, by
And
virtue
what does
of the
it do
fact that no one
exactly?
uses it. You establish a telepathic link with one beast you touch that is friendly to you or charmed by you. The spell fails if the beast's intelligence score is 4 or higher. Until the spell ends, the link is active while you and the beast are within line of sight of each other. Through the link, it can understand your telepathic message to it, and it can telepathically communicate simple emotions and concepts back to you. While the link is active, the beast gains advantage on attack rolls against any creature within 5 feet of you that can see you.
I like it.
Yeah.
So we got field friend, is I think the term we're using right now for it. And you can make little friends. And I say target only tiny beasts. Easy solution. You got your crows, you got your mice, you got your small beasts. Or tiny beasts, rather. And then
Heck,
we can
spider,
have
spider if you want. You know, a lot of things you could do.
Yeah, and then we can say, starting at 3rd level, you can cast Hold Person with the straight. Once you cast it, you cannot do it again until you finish a long rest. All right. I mean, I think that's pretty all right there. What do you want to call that second feature? Or do we want to give them all? Do we want to also give them Cause Fear?
I feel like they should have Cause Fear. I feel like that's so core to what a Scarecrow is. And I like the name Child of the Corn.
Do you really?
I do, yeah.
Okay. Child of the Corn it is. Whoever suggested Child of the Corn, you have 1 over Pete.
There's something very eldritch about it.
You can cast the Cause Fear spell. So you can cast Cause Fear using this trait. Additionally, starting at 3rd level, you can guess Hold Person with this trait. Once you cast
Either spell? Is that the phrase?
either spell.
You can't cast that spell again.
Yeah, you can't cast that spell again until you finish a long rest. And what do we want the spell casting? It's got to be Charisma, right?
Charisma, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, that looks great. We've got our little field friend in there, which I'm pretty happy with field friend as well. Let's
Oh, you just alphabetized. Okay.
I was just alphabetizing it.
Where did it go?
So I can get rid of all of this stuff down here because it's all in there now.
It is gone. It is gone and
Do we
good.
want to add to field friend just the wait, where'd he go? Oh, he's down here. And I didn't alphabetize it because I can't words. Do we want to give like something about beast, or is it just the beast spawn spell is the only option? I think it's just a beast spawn spell. I like that actually.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's take a quick pass.
Yeah, great.
+3.
+3, right? Basically, effectively standard stats.
Mm-hmm. Standard, but better.
Yep. Speed, we were undecided, but we were leaning towards 30. So we'll assume 30 for this.
Yeah, and we'll maybe come back.
Yep.
Complex nature.
Immunity to poison.
Pretty powerful.
Can breathe underwater. Immunity to specifically the sleep spell, that's almost irrelevant. The breathe underwater is less irrelevant.
Yeah, let's only talk about the big ones, right? Breathe underwater and immunity to poison.
Immunity to poison is very big. Child of the Corn and Field Friend, I think we can call those as one, just spell casting.
Yeah.
Full spell casting, which is also a significant trait.
Yep. So there's 2 pretty significant traits here. Dark vision, pretty meaningful still.
Yep, false appearance also not super meaningful, but
ribbon.
not. I wouldn't go so far as to call it a ribbon. I think it has some
I
cool
think it's
uses.
so niche that we, regardless, not gonna tip the scales here.
And last but not least, kindling, which is
kindling is pretty good here. I think
take it off. Yeah, we definitely need to keep kindling with how much we put on this. I'm not certain that it. I'm not certain that even gets us to the point where I think we're still a little over the top here.
I think we're okay with it.
And I think this airs on. Okay, well, what do you think is
trying to so? I mean, if we look at the biggest, the best, the highest echelon, which is the Yuan-Ti Pureblood, we have a very, very similar slew of abilities of spell casting. This has one extra spell over the Yuan-Ti, which is Cause Fear. Otherwise, between Field Friend and Child of the Corn, they're about the same. False Appearance, I don't think really weighs in. They both have Dark Vision, correct?
I don't know about the
They both have immunity to poison. The Construct weighs in a little higher because it doesn't need to breathe either. And this thing has a glaring weakness to fire, whereas the Yuan-Ti has resistance to magic. I think that the fire combine the fire, the not breathing air, and the false appearance do not come anywhere near close to the magic resistance that Yuan-Ti's got.
But I would also argue that the Yuan-Ti's spells are worse.
Suggestion?
I guess suggestion. I don't know. I think.
I mean, Cause Fear is good.
Yeah, Cause Fear is good, and I don't know. I think just in terms of power, suggestion is flavorful and kind of fun out of combat, but Hold Person is a powerful spell.
Only against humanoids.
Yeah, but I don't know. Most people take it to the point you're so often against humanoids. I think the spellcasting suite here is better than the.
Yeah, I can agree it's a little better. Okay. Is there something flavorful that we can give this that isn't Hold Person? If we are afraid that's just a little too much?
Maybe. I know. I think there are places that we can cut it without.
Well, hit me out here. Even if the spellcasting gets a little better here, are we approaching the Yuan-Ti really? I'm not sure we are.
I think we're coming close to it, and that scares me because
really
we don't want to. Yeah, I think this is absolutely approaches the Yuan-Ti. I mean, it has the kindling feature, which
I would think because Yuan-Ti does have magic resistance, just straight up magic resistance.
Magic resistance is sick. No, I mean, there's no getting around that. I would say that the Yuan-Ti Pureblood, I think it's better than this still because magic resistance is outrageous. I just think that this is encroaching, and I get nervous if we're coming near the Yuan-Ti Pureblood.
I'm not sure we're really that close, though. You know what, Pete? If you really want to take this a step down, I've got one way to do it.
You want to get rid of the choose one?
Just make it Constitution. We give it 3, kind of like the Triton. That way you don't get a +2 in one.
I mean, that definitely does bring the power down. I feels like it's less fun, though.
Less interesting.
Yeah, I feel like that takes personality out of it, which I don't like. A thing that I would rather take away from this is Dark Vision, as an example. It feels
the Scarecrow, though.
That doesn't Dark Vision honestly doesn't scream. Other than that, it's spooky. That's the only reason that
All right, Pete, you win. You win. Switch is on your side, and Switch is the lord of balance. So I have conceded. Conceded. Is it not a construct thing on other constructs? Switch? I actually didn't know. Lol.
And then I think I'm feeling closer.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still good, but it's got downside. And
I'm gonna be real. I think this is a step below the Yuan-Ti. I think just
Yeah,
choose
without
one
dark.
for a +2 dex definitely makes this a strong dex-based character contender.
Yeah, I
But
know, I agree. I don't think without dark vision and considering that it has the kindling feature, I don't think it's as good as the Yuan-Ti, certainly. And that's what I don't like. I just like being comfortably below that because I don't want to start touching the
That's
top
true.
of balance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, of course. And that's something to consider. Maybe if you're playing this in your own home game and you're creating this for your own players, as for Mr. Chat here, Chat, if you're building this for, your own home game, you can do whatever the hell you want. Don't worry about kind of scraping the upper echelon of balance. Don't blow it out of the water. But, we're making this for a community, for the DnDTime game as a whole. And so Pete and I are being a little bit more judicious, maybe, I think is a term.
Yeah.
A strong bard, sorcerer, or warlock. I think it would actually make a pretty strong barbarian, or actually rogue. I think it would be pretty solid. I'm really interested in seeing. I want that false appearance rogue. Just the.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it. I don't think this is breaking anything. I think it's just fun.
Really good assassin if your targets are all walking through fields.
It's very true.
Very specialized assassin.
With that, that's our Scarecrow. Thank you, everybody. But before we go, Pete, we have one last segment.
Yep.
That is
Ask Pete and
Jeremy. Here we are on Ask Pete and Jeremy. It's time to do. It's time to do Ask Pete and Jeremy, where people ask us all sorts of crazy, zany questions.
Pete,
and
what questions exist?
The first question comes from Blood Moon Lance, who asks, as Divine Blessing, are the bottled blessing persistent in anti-magic fields? The answer, I would say, is no.
Ooh.
Actually, wait a minute. Let me think.
I'd have to open up the anti-magic field, and see what it says. What does the anti-magic field say?
In the same vein, I feel like there's some of that that's going to be interpretation.
Well, actually, I know what you're referencing. I'm sorry, Pete. Go ahead.
I was going to say things like, for example, Sorcerer's Dragon Wings. Are those theirs, or are they magic?
The specific phrase in anti-magic field actually comes up quite a bit, and I like this.
It's because it's a spicy spell.
Spells and other magical effects, except those created by an artifact or a deity, are suppressed in the sphere and can't protrude into it. This is a phrase that often comes up. If you're a cleric, or if you're a warlock, or if you're whatever, and you use your divine spells, you're making those effects, not your god, not your deity. So, yeah, that phrase there is just meant for you can't anti-magic field a god. That phrase is not meant
for
that
things
paladins
created by
have
gods.
Their aura forever.
Yeah.
If you're a player character, it gets nixed.
But there are certain things that I think are on the close edge of that. For example, Bottled Blessing of Mercy, where it's when you hit with an attack.
I think the Bottled Blessings, maybe.
Well, that's what he was referring to, I think.
Yeah.
This one's very close.
This is how. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm just going to say my instinct, I would rule no, they are suppressed by the anti-magic field because it's a magical effect that has appeared on you. And just in the same way that, it's basically become a divine class feature, and just in the way that a paladin's aura is suppressed, I would say the Bottled Blessing is also suppressed.
I think it kind of depends. Are they fake? Did Bartholomew fake these blessings, or are they legit blessings?
You'll have to find out when you go into an anti-magic field.
Yikes!
The answer is they won't work.
Our next question comes from Wraithful Collier.
I think that was
Sword.
Him weighing in on Blood Moon Lance's question there.
Yep. Nope. Sword, you said exactly what I just said. I should read more. The Ghoulier Gray asks, where are the last of the Grung? Where are they? Oh, gosh, you think that's the last of the Grung? You're in for a world of pain. Switch, it's not Friday anymore. All right. Oh, we got another question here from Matty Morgs. I'm going to read this one out because it's a long one. Oh my goodness, wait, what? You just rolled up to a Dunkin' Donuts or other similar place. They're out of your favorite donut. What is your second choice?
Hmm. I mean,
This is
my
interesting.
second choice donut is probably a vanilla frosted donut because my first choice donut was the blueberry donut.
See, Matty Moore says mine would be apple fritters. Do fritters count as donuts?
I think it's just what's your second choice to get if they don't
Okay.
have the donut that's your favorite.
Because the apple fritter is just my favorite. I like that more than any donut.
Actually, now, yeah, since we're
Oh.
outside of the realm of donuts, I guess coffee roll would be my pick. The coffee roll at
Yeah.
Dunkin' Donuts is very good.
Now, if we had to pick donuts, I think actually Switch, Adrian P. in the chat, hits the nail on the head. Boston cream and then the jam-filled donuts are the best two. In that order. I think actually I've been more of a jam guy as of late. Less Boston cream, more jam. Hello.
Yeah, there it is.
learning
There's more. Congratulations, you all reached level 1, then 3, then 5. You get a cantrip, first level spell, and second level spell. What can you cast? Don't think about it. The magic comes naturally. Blurt out your spontaneous spells. Jeremy, go!
Find familiar, levitate.
Cantrip.
I said wish. There's a third one. That's my cantrip.
That's a good cantrip. Jesus. My cantrips are mending.
Oh.
Charm person. Darkness. Those have nothing to do with
If I
me.
had to pick a cantrip, it's acid splash.
Yeah, I didn't pick ones that I actually. Mending was one that I like. Mending might be my favorite cantrip.
All right, Matty Morris has additional questions. Let's get artsy crafty. Pete, I know that you're a sucker for details like the halfling harvest goddess gourd, and all the other things are just ooze aesthetic. What's more iconic than a dwarf in armor? What's something cool cosmetically about it?
What's more iconic than a dwarf in armor? I guess the answer would be a dwarf in armor with a warhammer. And something that's cool cosmetically about it. Specifically, I just like a cool thing that you could do to a dwarven armor to like give it flavor for that individual. I'm picturing, the runes of it. I imagine that like dwarven clans have armor that is, since smithing is so inherent to their like craft and their people, like the letter marking and kind of like the runes around it are almost like signatures where you want to have specific like carvings and inns. And so like other dwarves walking around might see you and recognize like, oh yes, you got whatever the Versace is of dwarven armor because Great Hammer Stone Throw or whatever your dwarf 2-word last name character is made this armor, which is something that might be cool cosmetically, is to have like dwarven signatures on them.
Man, you just ran with that. That was a great question.
That's what I had.
Pete, you gonna read the question for me because I haven't read it yet because I wanna read it and answer it in the moment.
Jeremy, I know you love painting scenes in your DMing. You like PCs using setting. I remember becoming a ballista bolt going into a Tarrasque mouth at the zoo, for example. So can you paint me a scene? A beautiful sunset field ready for harvest, a glorious mountain. What just oozes RP aesthetic to you if you or Bob Ross could paint it?
Oh goodness. What just paint you a scene? Okay, you are at I don't know. I'm in so much pressure. You are in a spooky dark forest. You see the large trees looming overhead, their branches reaching down almost like claws waiting to grasp you and pull you into the darkness. You see an old beehive hanging from a tree, its shadow leaving a long trail amongst the ground in front of you like a hanged man. You see shrubs poking out, little sparse bare branches pushing through the leaves, almost like bones coming up from the ground. And in all of this, you realize that you are lost. That's my scene.
That's a pretty good scene, Jeremy. I got shivered. I have one bump of the goose variety.
It's wonderful. I don't know if that gave you anything to play with, but there's a beehive and it looks like a hanged man. And there's a, I don't know.
It's
some
pretty good.
bushes.
No, it's good. Defraguli1 says, if a red dragon is earthbinded with disadvantage on strength and sinks into deep lava, does it drown?
Yep.
My answer is no, because Earthbind doesn't last as long as a dragon's constitution modifier.
Yeah, it does last like a minute.
Yeah, dragon constitution is like +4, so that's like they can drink for
Actually,
like 4 minutes.
You're right. It kind of depends. Oh, it's minutes?
Yeah, constitution modifier
I
is
think
for
that was
every.
rounds.
No, that's minutes, baby. It's
Oh.
forever.
Christ almighty. Yeah, no, he's fine. That dragon's there for good.
Yeah.
Is Earthbind a minute? Or is it 10?
If Earthbind's 10 minutes, then the
Holy
dragon
shit,
can
we should do
drown.
this more.
Uh,
More Earthbinds. God, that's a spell that, like, is infrequently used. 1 minute.
It is 1 minute, yeah.
But if you were a sorcerer that lengthened spelled Earthbind, you could drown a red dragon in lava.
How long does lengthen spell make
It doubles.
last?
Wait, it just doubles it, doesn't it?
No, you're not going to get there. I guess you'd have to have a couple of. The question, I think, the crux of it though is: can a red dragon, drown in lava?
Yes, it definitely can.
The answer, I think, would be yes.
Yeah.
Spook Deuce asks, will you be doing more BC brewing Wednesday streams in the future, similar to the Sovereign Sphere? My answer to that, and I don't know how you feel about Jeremy, is maybe. It's possible that we might do that again at some point. Partly why we were doing that on that day is that we just like were so particularly swamped in that moment that it was like the only time we could find to work on it was like just doing it when we were going to stream anyway. Kind of a tie-in, but maybe that's something that we could do more of, especially if people enjoy that and want to see it.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to like that kind of design, it's very personal. And so it would really depend on a lot of things. I think both Pete and I's kind of availabilities in greater times, but also, yeah, the person whose choice it was. We would never do that with someone who we didn't talk to about it and know that they were absolutely comfortable with it.
That's true. We spent a good amount of time, like we'd spoken to Max completely beforehand and be like, "Are you comfortable from this?" And so on, so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
So.
We got another question coming in from Witch. Pete, if you could build any boss battle / adventure in Pete and Jeremy's DnDTime as an adventure map in Minecraft, what is it and what episode is it from?
I think a good as an adventure map. What would work well as an adventure? My first instinct was that weird puzzle adventure I made called The Box, where they were like doing a lot of very like challengey stuff, but I guess you can't really work that gravity flip thing into Minecraft. Or maybe you could. Maybe you could find a way to do that. Never mind, you absolutely could. The answer is that. That would work really well, I think, in Minecraft, because it was a lot of very QB design, if that makes sense.
And Max Meister asks, if you could reuse a boss from a boss battle, which would you use, and what episode did it feature in? I mean, that's an interesting question.
I think both of us have.
Have reused a boss?
Yeah.
I mean, I've reused Lemic over and over.
There it is. The answer I have is... I mean, the answer is the Rhyme Slime, obviously. Because I'm going to use him as often as I can, which is not that often because he's a lot of work to run, but...
Which also asks, I didn't like that answer. Jeremy, it's your turn. I would remake the Central City Zoo from the adventure A Day at the Zoo, where everything went to shit. I think that just about wraps it for now. Thank you, everybody, for being here this evening, for hanging out with us, helping us build some scarecrows. There were a lot of really awesome ideas that came through in the chat, and actually ended up becoming part of the Scarecrow. So we super appreciate you guys helping out and being a part of this whole creative process, and for just, being you. Thank you again to Ian Grim9 for 15 months of support via subscription. We appreciate that.
Thank you,
And
Ian
to
Grim.
The Forgotten One also for 15
And
months.
thank you, Frog.
And
Frog really won.
we love all you guys. Don't forget to check out DnDTime, Pete and Jeremy's DnDTime. The Carnival of Souls Week 2 continues this Friday.
That is true.
12 characters have been disappeared.
Hopefully,
Who will be next?
hopefully no more disappear. I'm confident that you will all not disappear this week.
And yeah, that just about wraps us. So thank you all. We love you guys. Oh, quick announcement: there is going to be no the Black Hand DnDTime Tales this Sunday. We had some scheduling conflicts due to the missed week, so don't worry, we'll be back on with that in the next Sundays.
Yeah, and with that, I think, Jeremy, do you have anything else?
Yeah, we're gonna head off now. If you guys want more Dungeons and Dragons content, you want it now, you can always check out our good friend Matty Morgs. We love Matty. He's over at twitch.tv/Matty Morgs. We'll be hosting him here. Great dude, does a lot of Dungeons and Dragons related content. Specifically, he really, really thrives and does really well with character. If you're interested in building some really cool characters, some maybe really cool NPCs that you might want to use in your future upcoming games, or maybe that you might run into in future upcoming games that you play with us this Friday. So you should really check him out. He's a cool guy. Twitch.tv/Matty Morg.
Jeremy, is tonight Matty's NPC night?
I don't know.
Matty, is tonight NPC night? Let us know in chat if tonight's NPC night. And with that, I think that is all for me. I'm Pete.
I'm Jeremy.
And this is DnDTime Brews. Good night, everyone.